Yesterday, the country music queen celebrated her 60th birthday, if you can believe that.
And I love the title of this, Queen of Me. It sounds like that's the perfect title in the perfect moment.
At 60 years old, Shania Twain is finally breaking her silence and confirming the rumors that fans have been talking about for years. From her incredible rise to fame to the personal struggles that nearly ended her career, Shania has been through it all. But this time, she's setting the record straight in her own words. What she just revealed has left fans emotional, shocked, and more inspired than ever. Today, we're taking a closer look at what Shania Twain finally confirmed and why it changes everything we thought we knew about her. The birthday bombshell. On August 28, 2025, Shania Twain hit a big milestone, her 60th birthday, and she marked it in true Shania style. She posted a photo on Instagram wearing a simple white button-up shirt and black underwear with the caption, "Happy birthday to me. How can I be 60?" It was a fun little nod to her "Man, I feel like a woman" era. That same confident, playful energy she's always had. Even the background of the post gave fans a bit of nostalgia, featuring the classic line, "Let's go girls." Naturally, the internet went wild. Within hours, her post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes and an avalanche of comments. Fans were calling her a legend, dropping fire emojis, and celebrating how she's still embracing herself after all these years. A few people were convinced it was an old photo. Others wanted to know her skincare secrets. It kind of turned into this bigger conversation about aging, confidence, and how women in the spotlight are choosing to show up as themselves. What makes it even more interesting is that Shania's been pretty open about this phase of her life. She's talked about going through self-image struggles in the past, especially after her Lyme disease diagnosis affected her voice and confidence. But instead of hiding, she's been leaning into authenticity. She often says she wants to celebrate aging, not fight it, and that confidence doesn't have an expiration date. Think about it. In a time when most celebrities are smoothing, filtering, and face-tuning their way to eternal youth, Shania just drops a raw-ish throwback and completely owns the moment. It's kind of refreshing, right? It feels real, and honestly, it fits perfectly with who she's always been. This is the same woman who grew up in Timmins, Ontario, singing in bars at 8 years old to help support her family. Shy, humble, and wildly talented. Fast forward a few decades, and she's headlined Vegas residencies, sold over 100 million records, and become one of the most influential women in country pop. So when she celebrates turning 60, it's not just about another birthday, it's about everything she's overcome to get here. Plastic surgery rumors. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the Botox-filled room. Because, yeah, Shania's face has definitely sparked some chatter. Every time she steps on a red carpet, people start speculating. Has she or hasn't she? Shania herself has always insisted she's aging naturally and prefers to embrace what comes with time. She's been pretty open about wanting to stay authentic and feel comfortable in her own skin. Still, that hasn't stopped the internet and a few professionals from weighing in. Beverly Hills plastic surgeon Dr. Gary Moteke, who's known for giving honest, non-judgy breakdowns of celebrity transformations, shared his thoughts in a 2024 interview with the Daily Mail. He suggested that Shania might have had a little help here and there, possibly a subtle brow lift, some Botox to smooth things out, maybe a touch of filler for volume, and even eyelid work to brighten her gaze. He wasn't criticizing, just observing, and pointed out that small tweaks like that are super common for performers constantly under stage lights and cameras. But Shania's made it pretty clear how she feels about it all. In a May 2024 interview with The Sun, she said, I want to know it's there. I want to be okay with it instead of thinking I have to cover it up. Basically, she's not chasing perfection, she's choosing acceptance. And honestly, that attitude fits her to a T after everything she's been through: career highs, health struggles, personal reinventions. She's earned the right to age however she wants. Whether it's genes, good lighting, or a little bit of both, she's owning it with confidence. Rewind to 2023, when Shania made headlines with her InStyle cover shoot, posing nude at 57 and proudly going makeup-free. It wasn't about shock value, it was about self-acceptance. "Forget the sag," she joked in the interview, laughing as she talked about letting go of the pressure to stay 20 forever. That moment really marked her shift toward embracing natural beauty, flaws and all. Fast forward to 2025, and her 60th birthday photos reignited that whole conversation. Fans were divided. Some couldn't stop raving about her ageless glow, while others were a bit skeptical. Comments flooded X, formerly Twitter, with everything from "Shania at 60 looks every bit the icon, but did she time travel or what?" to "Love her, but stay away from the knife, girl. You were beautiful raw." You could practically hear the internet split in two. But honestly, it's easy to speculate when you're not the one living under that kind of spotlight. Shania's been navigating fame since her 1993 debut, dealing with the scrutiny that comes with being a woman in music and in front of a camera for over 3 decades. Remember her 1997 breakout with "Come On Over"? The red dress, the confidence, the unapologetic attitude. She's always owned her image. The only difference now is that she's owning the evolution of it. Even experts like Dr. Gary Moteke, who's weighed in on her look more than once, admit it's all educated guesswork. He's said before that any speculation is just that, speculation, and that whether she's had a tweak or not, it's entirely her call. And that's kind of the point. And hey, let's normalize this. Celebs aren't obligated to spill on their routines. Shania's focus? Joy, not judgment. She told Us Weekly in early 2025 she's embracing the lines as stories. That's the real bombshell. Confidence over controversy. Lyme disease and throat surgery. Back in 2003, Shania's life took a pretty brutal turn. While horseback riding, she got bitten by a tick and ended up contracting Lyme disease. Sounds minor at first, right? But it ended up being life-changing. The infection caused nerve damage to her vocal cords, and for someone whose entire world revolved around singing, that was devastating. She went from headlining massive tours and topping charts to struggling just to speak without strain. At one point, she needed not 1, but 2 open throat surgeries to repair the damage. Yeah, open throat, as in doctors literally had to operate on her neck to rebuild what a tick bite had wrecked. It all happened right at her peak, around the Up Tour, when she was one of the biggest artists on the planet. Suddenly, the dizziness, the joint pain, and the fading voice hit like a wall. Doctors didn't even catch it at first. Some thought it was stress or psychological. It wasn't until months later that they realized it was Lyme disease, likely from that ride in the Berkshires. In her 2023 InStyle feature, Shania said it took her nearly 7 years to fully understand what was happening to her body. By 2018, she was back in surgery again, trying to restore her voice. The recovery process was rough. She's talked about having to relearn how to swallow, breathe, and talk without panicking. Imagine being one of the most recognizable voices in music, and suddenly you have to start from scratch. When she opened up about it on The Kelly Clarkson Show in 2020, it was emotional. She admitted, "I thought I'd never sing again." Her voice cracking as Kelly tried to lighten the mood with a few jokes about avoiding the woods. But you could feel the weight of it. The fear, the frustration, the loss of identity. Shania said it felt like losing a part of herself because her voice wasn't just her job, it was her. She really did fear she'd never sing again. But in true Shania fashion, she came back swinging, like a country phoenix rising from the ashes, only with more grit and a little extra glitter. When her 2023 album, Queen of Me, dropped, it wasn't just a comeback, it was proof she'd found a new voice, literally. Songs like Giddy Up showed off a deeper, huskier tone, more lived in, more confident, and honestly, a little sexier. During a follow-up visit on The Kelly Clarkson Show that same year, she laughed and said, "It's deeper now, like I've lived it." And she wasn't wrong. Fans noticed, too. Her Las Vegas residency, which ran from 2019 to 2022, sold out show after show. Her post-surgery voice wasn't just back, it was stronger. This isn't just a comeback story. Lyme disease stole years from her, but Shania found a way to steal them back. She's been vocal about raising awareness ever since, even teaming up with the Lyme Disease Association to help others facing the same battle. In her memoir, From This Moment On, 2011, she opened up about that dark period, being bedridden, depressed, and wondering if her singing days were over. But fast forward to 2025, and she's touring again, teasing new music, and sounding better than ever. It's proof that even when life knocks you flat, you can still rise and roar. After her surgeries, she started experimenting more with her sound, trying new things, and leaning into her imperfections. Her 2017 album Now was like a soft reintroduction, a whisper that she wasn't done yet. Then Queen of Me came along, full throttle, reminding everyone exactly who she is. As she told people in 2020, "Singing saved me twice, once from poverty, once from this." Now, let's rewind to one of the wildest plot twists in music history. The kind of story you'd expect from a soap opera, not real life. The affair scandal. Shania's first husband, Mutt Lange, the genius producer behind her biggest hits, ended up having an affair with none other than her best friend and personal assistant, Marie-Anne Thiebaud. The whole thing unraveled in 2008 after 14 years of marriage and the birth of their son, Aja. Mutt wasn't just her partner, he was her creative other half, the man who helped shape the Come On Over era and her signature sound. So when the truth came out, it hit like a freight train. Here's how it went down. While Shania was on tour in Quebec, Marie-Anne's husband, Frédéric Thiebaud, a Nestlé executive and close family friend, pulled her aside and dropped the bomb. He discovered that his wife and Mutt had been sneaking around for months. Secret texts, hotel meetups, the works. Talk about betrayal stacked on betrayal. By December 2008, Shania filed for divorce. Mutt and Marie-Anne got married 2 years later, in 2010. But here's where the story takes a turn. Shania and Frédéric, both blindsided and heartbroken, found comfort in each other's company. What started as shared pain slowly grew into something real. They fell in love quietly, without the Hollywood noise. In 2011, they tied the knot in Puerto Rico, a small, intimate ceremony by a lake, surrounded only by close family. Shania has summed it up perfectly over the years. It's twisted, but beautifully twisted. In a 2020 chat with Entertainment Tonight, she opened up about how that heartbreak led to healing. "We healed each other," she said, crediting Frédéric for being both the messenger and her emotional anchor when her world fell apart. And of course, she turned the pain into power. Her 2017 album, Now, is packed with raw emotion. Songs like Poor Me practically bleed honesty. It's Shania doing what she's always done best, turning heartbreak into an anthem. That whole scandal was, of course, a tabloid gold. You couldn't walk past a newsstand in 2008 without seeing Country Queen's Heartbreak splashed across the covers. But while everyone else was obsessing over the drama, Shania quietly rose above it. In her 2011 memoir, she admitted she was furious, like throw a mic furious. "I could have gone nuclear," she wrote, "but I picked peace." That's classic Shania. Rage, processed and polished into resilience. By 2020, she could even laugh about it. In an interview with USA Today, she said, "Life's messy, we make it magic." And she really meant it. Frederick, the man who broke the news of the affair, ended up being her emotional anchor through everything, from her Lyme disease recovery to touring again. When they eventually parted ways in 2023, she announced it simply on Instagram. A grateful chapter closes. No drama, no cryptic posts, just gratitude. Interestingly, Shania eventually forgave Marie-Anne. Well, sort of. In a 2015 Taste of Country interview, when asked what she'd say to her former friend, she replied, "Live with your choices." Not exactly warm, but definitely classy. That's her superpower. Turning poison into power ballads. These days, Shania's in her single era, reportedly dating casually as of 2024. But she wears that old scandal like a badge of survival. Fans love her for it. One X-thread even called it the ultimate plot flip. And they're not wrong. Career comeback. When most people her age are thinking about retirement, Shania Twain clearly didn't get that memo. In summer 2025, she hit the road again for her live-in concert tour, a high-energy run across North America that kicked off in May and wrapped in October. What was originally announced as a small encore to her Queen of Me tour turned into a full-on celebration of everything fans love about her. Big hits, bigger crowds, and even bigger cowboy hats waving in the air to "Any Man of Mine." With more than 20 dates stretching from Vancouver to Nashville, the shows blended nostalgia with fresh, updated spins on her classics. At her July stop in Buffalo, she brought the house down. Pyro, crowd sing-alongs, and that trademark Shania grin lighting up the arena. Fans caught every moment on their phones, and when the tour wrapped, she shared a post on Instagram that summed it up perfectly. "Can't believe summer's over." Complete with a few candid shots her team, and maybe Frederick, snapped along the way. At 60, Shania's still rocking fishnets, commanding the stage with the same spark she had in her 20s, maybe even more. Her voice sounds stronger than ever, the product of years of rehab and sheer determination. No signs of slowing down, just full-throttle Shania. And she's not just touring, she's teasing new music too. In June 2025, she confirmed to Holler Country that she's back in the studio working on her 7th album. Inspired by the energy of the tour, she hinted that the new project will mix her signature pop country style with a few modern twists. "New tunes coming," she teased on Instagram, dropping little hints about potential collabs and a more danceable sound. If Now in 2017 was her therapy album and Queen of Me in 2023 was her empowerment era, this next one feels like her victory lap. Her career comeback has been nothing short of layered. Post-Lyme, post-divorce, and post-doubt. She's reinvented herself more than once and somehow keeps topping it. After a 4-year Vegas residency, which even got a 2024 extension, she's proven she can still pack arenas from the Heartland to Hyde Park. So, how exactly have fans reacted to Shania's new look? Fan reactions. Fans can't quite agree on what to make of Shania's new look. Some say she's aging like fine wine. Others think she's starting to look like a Kardashian who accidentally wandered into a country concert. That 60th birthday post definitely poured fuel on the fire. "Ageless?" one Yahoo commenter cheered, while MSN Threads worried she looked totally different. And after the 2024 People's Choice Awards, the plastic surgery whispers hit a new high. On X, the debate raged. What happened? Knife away versus flawless forever. But scroll past the noise, and the vibe at her shows tells a different story. Concert photos from her 2025 tour, Buffalo in July, Nashville in August, show Shania sparkling in sequins, smiling ear to ear, and looking genuinely radiant. Fans captioned their pics with lines like, "60 never looked so lit." Whatever anyone's saying online, the crowds in person are clearly loving her. Then came the moment that shut everyone up. October 4th, 2025, at Austin City Limits Festival. Sabrina Carpenter surprised the audience by bringing Shania on stage for a duet of "That Don't Impress Me Much." It was a total generational handoff. Sabrina in sparkly boots, Shania in full glam, the crowd losing its mind. At one point, Shania teased her with the lyric tweak, "Okay, so you're a rocket scientist," and the place erupted. People magazine called it chemistry that popped, and it really did. The energy, the playfulness, the mutual respect. One fan summed it up perfectly on X. She detonated. "That Don't Impress Me Much" became the anthem of the night. Another, more skeptical Facebook comment read, "Are we sure this is Shania Twain?" Half shade, half awe. But even with the divided opinions, the love still wins out. Smooth Radio wrote, "Every bit 60, but iconic." Whiskey Riff said it best. "Unrecognizable? Nah, unstoppable." So yeah, fans might be split on her face, but no one's doubting her fire. 6 decades in, and Shania's still commanding stages, breaking the internet and reminding everyone why she's a legend. So, what do you think about this story? Let us know down in the comments section. Also, drop your fave Shania jam below, like if she's your queen. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace!